Welcome to this episode of YouTube. We've entitled it A Quick Medical Exam, and we did have a opportunity to take a more thorough look at Aiden, and we've been talking a while back that Aiden had a little bit of a distended stomach. We had tried some probiotics thinking that it was maybe a gastrointestinal issue that was affected by some antibiotics that had been taken for his discoid lupus. We thought the probiotics was working, and then it seemed like it was kind of back, and this kind of was a cycling thing. It seemed to happen during the late fall of the year. So again, we all know about putting on a little extra body fat in the fall and getting ready for winter, but everybody else is eating the same amount as he is, and he's putting on a little bit more belly fat, which makes us a little concerned about something called Cushing's, which is a cortisol-induced medical condition. And so we took the opportunity, Aiden's was physically okay, but we took the opportunity to take him down to the clinic for x-rays and for ultrasound and blood work and urinalysis to be able to get a clear picture of how he's, what this is, and if we can treat this, and to make sure that it wasn't something more significant like cancer or some other kind of a mass that might be in his stomach. And the good news was there is nothing out of the ordinary in his stomach. It is fat related, and so then we're back to this idea of is cortisol causing this? Is this a stressor that is inherent with this dominant wolf? And we did have this several years ago with Mackenzie, our dominant female. She came down with Cushing's, and so we know cortisol is the stress hormone, and it's a very, very influential hormone. So the challenge was we had to take Aiden out, immobilize him, get him to the clinic, and not have the rest of the wolves impacted. So you saw early on in this clip where we locked up Denali, Bolt, and Luna, and we drugged Aiden out of sight of them, and so they didn't watch him going into the immobilization. And then when they came back out, we put out a plethora of food, many deer legs, and that was Aiden there on chewing on a deer leg. This is Denali standing over a deer leg. We had beaver tails. We had all kinds of distractions, and there's two reasons why we did this. One is obviously food's a good distractor, but secondly, when the other wolves came out of the pack holding area, Aiden was lying down in front of a deer leg, and his first response was threat display. We knew food would encourage wolves to guard their possessions, and so as those other three wolves came out of the pack holding area, first thing they saw of Aiden is not a wolf who'd just been through a medical exam, who might be a little stressed and might be a little bit, tipsy, although we waited several hours to make sure that most of the drug was out. But there's always that kind of wooziness that comes after immobilization. So the first thing that they saw was a strong, confident wolf sitting on a deer leg who did a lip curl and a full growl to them, which basically said, you know what, stay away from my cache. So obviously the wolf care staff was there the whole time. Our wolf specialist spent the night here to make sure everything was okay and everything was fine. But over in Grizzerland, Grizzer wasn't exactly thrilled about having the pack holding area in his space, so he did a little vegetative rearranging. Fortunately, we've got a lot of vegetation, but this 10-year-old's been doing quite a bit of work on his own in the enclosure. So while Grizzer was in holding, he had wolf care staff around, and then when he got back out, he was pretty excited to have his space back. So he went into a play bow that was for the photographer's benefit, going down on the front haunches, and it's part of what we call the invite chase maneuver. Basically, play bow to someone and run away to see if they chase them. Obviously, wolf care staff are not going to be chasing him, but it does allow him to get again back into that kind of routine of interacting and making some runs around the enclosure. Like I said, it took him a little while to sniff out everywhere that they'd been, every cache that they had marked, every cache that they'd stolen. Certainly was something that was probably a little harder for Grizzer, but like I say, staff spent the whole time with him to make sure that he was okay in the east side, and then when he went back in the pack holding area after everybody else left, he was pretty much active all day long. So that's about it. Like I said, with Aiden's medical exam, we did not don't have any results yet, but we hope to have some news soon. But what the good news is, like I say, it wasn't a mass. Certainly I was more concerned about that, especially after after seeing the situations with Shadow and Malik, and to know that these wolves can mask any kind of pain. And so I wanted to make sure that Aiden didn't have something like significant that he was dealing with. So this is still significant. Certainly when he doesn't feel well, the other pack, he isn't as amiable or as sociable with the other pack members, and so we want to make sure that we can calm it, or we can address it. And certainly that's our job, to do the best that we can to make the wolves feel good. So we will let you know when we get the results, but we thought we'd end here with a little bit of social dynamics that comes from the bird type. And we do have surveillance cams we set on the east side where Grizzer is, and that's your webcam that you usually view. And Grizzer, I don't know where he is. He's sleeping somewhere else, but in this particular case, this was on Friday the 23rd. Actually, no, that was today, the 23rd, Saturday, at 10 a.m. So Grizzer's probably resting in the other areas, and here's the ravens picking apart some of the deer hides. And so I wanted to end with this, and also to remind you that we are doing a lot of programming here at the Wolf Center coming up this fall and winter. A lot of opportunities to share in wolf information, wolf education. We do have a bus trip scheduled. If you're never been to Ely and from the Twin Cities area, or can get to the Twin Cities, we're going to have a bus tour, the second annual bus tour, on Saturday, October 11th through Sunday, October 12th, and it's an overnight. You can find it on our website, and it is under events on our website. So if you look at the bar up at the top, go to events, you'll see Wolf Trek bus trip. And if you're not anywhere near the Twin Cities or able to get to the Twin Cities for a bus ride, we are going to start our seminars this upcoming week, and we're going to be broadcasting live from the Wolf Pen, what we call a program called Wolves to the Web. This is going to be the trial run on August 28th, this Thursday at 7 p.m. So if you are able to have a computer and are able to join us, we have a registration for that on the website, and that is under as the events tab under seminars, and so you can see our entire schedule fall into the spring, and those dates are pretty well set. The only thing that obviously may change is some dramatic weather or other kind of obligations that come up, but we know for sure we're broadcasting on the 28th. That's this Thursday at 7 p.m. Wolves to the Web, and pretty easy instructions to get on the web and be able to follow that seminar. So that's about it. And so again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week, and we'll hopefully have some good news on how we can treat Aiden and make him feel a little more comfortable and enjoy the rest of the fall and into the winter. Thanks. See you next week.